I heard the bat got him.
The bat? Oh, man, give me a break, will you?
5 stories straight down. There wasn't no blood in the body.
No shit. It was all over the pavement. Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
No, let me guess. Giant, menacing, supernatural form. Kinda like a bat.
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City?
I have given a name to my pain. Mysteriously, this is back here and
The summer of 1989 saw the first live-action incarnation of Batman on the big screen, after 10 years of development hell. Directed by a relatively unknown director at the time, Tim Burton, the movie grossed $400 million worldwide on a budget of $35 million, making Batman a huge success for Warner Brothers, just narrowly losing out on the top spot to Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. The movie dominated the world in the summer of 1989. Batman had cemented himself in American pop culture. While many comic book fans had been aware of Bob Kane and Bill Finger's creation for years, through comic books and the 60s TV show, the general public were now being treated to a serious and mature interpretation of the character. After the release of the highly successful Superman movie in 1978, every studio was looking for massive, lucrative comic book characters for film adaptations. Batman had a massive cult following, so Warner Brothers set their sights on it, but this time with a dark, serious tone. Superman's writer, Tom Mankiewicz, had written a treatment, and Richard Donner was approached to direct. He wanted Mel Gibson as Batman. This fell through, however. Once Donner left the project, a possible comedic Batman was considered, with Irving Reitman or Joe Dante as possible directors. This, however, never came to be either. Joel and Ethan Coen were also considered to direct the Batman project. However, they wanted full creative control over the script, so were ultimately dropped. Over the years, many directors and writers worked on this project. Eventually, a script was compiled by Sam Hamm. Tim Burton was obviously chosen as the director. The search for Batman himself was intensive. Once Tim Burton was hired, he attached Michael Keaton to the lead role. Burton and Keaton had just finished working on Beetlejuice, which was a success in its own right. The advertisements and marketing in 1989 were everywhere. You couldn't escape the Batman fever. Games, cereals, toys, and even Batman underpants dominated the shelves. This marketing strategy was brand new at the time. Today it's more commonplace with superhero blockbusters. A classic example is Batman and Robin. The movie was made around the toys, which should never be the case, as all you get is a glorified toy advert instead of a well-crafted picture. With the casting of Michael Keaton, fan backlash was immense. At the time, he was an actor who always played comedic, over-the-top characters. A massive fan petition was created to remove Michael from the role in fear the movie was heading in the Adam West camp direction. However, Warner Brothers rushed out a teaser trailer showing this was indeed heading in a much darker direction. Once viewed by fans, the anger over Michael's casting died down. Jack Nicholson plays arch-nemesis of Batman, the Joker. He was always Tim Burton's first choice for the role. Jack has always been a master at playing unhinged characters and takes it to the max here. Jack has stated the Joker is his favourite role he's ever played. He did, however, have numerous clauses in his contract before accepting the role, such as final makeup approval, late calls due to his 3 a.m. partying antics, and also a percentage of the merchandise. All in, he made around 50 to 60 million for this project, but he gave the project some legitimacy, like Brando had to Superman in 1978. We have Kim Basinger as Bruce's love interest, Vicky Vale. After Basinger became unavailable, Blade Runner Sean Young was cast. However, 2 days into shooting, she broke her collarbone during a riding accident, so Basinger was asked again and accepted the part. Jack Palance plays Mafia boss Carl Grissom, the major crime boss in Gotham City. Jack had some heated arguments with Burton on set, however these were resolved and Burton said it was ultimately a pleasure to work with. The film begins in the dark, gritty world of Gotham City. Batman is out patrolling the streets and physically batters 2 goons after they rob an innocent family. It seems Batman has been operating for a while, as the police are all too familiar with the dark, shadowy vigilante figure running around Gotham. Meanwhile, newly elected official Harvey Dent has vowed to rid Gotham of its corruption and crime bosses, targeting most notably crime kingpin Carl Grissom. Reporter Vicky Vale has just arrived in Gotham and aims to solve the Batman story with the help of fellow reporter Alexander Knox. They attend a fundraiser party at billionaire Bruce Wayne's house that evening to get information on Batman from Commissioner Gordon. That same night, Carl Grissom plans to clear out Access Chemicals, the main front for all his criminal dealings, as he fears Harvey Dent will raid it very soon and find incriminating evidence on him. He sends his best man Jack Napier along with a small band of Napier's men to carry out the cleanup. Little does Napier realise that Grissom has set him up for sleeping with his mistress and calls corrupt cop Lieutenant Eckhart and Gotham City PD to arrest Napier. At the Bruce Wayne party, Bruce becomes infatuated with Vicky Vale but is called away by Alfred with news of the Access Chemicals plot. A shootout begins against Napier's men and the police, with Batman in the middle. Disabling many of the thugs, he sets his sights on Napier. However, Bob the Goon, Napier's right-hand man, has Commissioner Gordon at gunpoint, so Batman backs off. Napier kills Eckhart and shoots at Batman. However, the bullet is deflected back at Napier, cutting his face to pieces. He falls over a ledge and into a large vat of acid below. Batman then proceeds to escape the police. The next day, Vicky Vale and Bruce have dinner at Wayne Manor and spend the night together. Having survived the acid bath, Napier checks into an Iraqi boutique centre and gets his classic green hair, whiter than white face, and perfect smile. He now identifies himself as the Joker. He heads off to kill Grissom and gains control of the whole criminal empire. After reading a news article on Batman, he vows to get revenge on the person responsible for causing his disfigurement. The Joker sets about tainting cosmetics with a laughing chemical to kill its victims and leave a permanent grin. While many victims die, Batman tries to discover the chemicals used in the items and find a way of stopping the madness. Joker then proceeds to kill all his possible enemies in and around Gotham City. However, Bruce seems to recognize this new criminal of Gotham. He soon comes to the realization that Jack Napier is in fact the Joker and he must stop him. The Joker, meanwhile, has become obsessed with Vicky Vale and invites her to have dinner with him. Vicky, believing it's Bruce, goes along. Before long, the Joker is trying to kill her, but Batman arrives and saves Vicky from certain death. Batman takes Vicky to the Batcave and gives her the list of items painted by the Joker and tells her to print the information so lives can be saved. While having a flashback dream of his parents' death, Bruce realises that Jack Napier, the Joker, killed his parents, and after explaining to Vicky he must stop the Joker because no one else can, Batman suits up, sets off to access chemicals to kill him. The Batmobile destroys the plant and many of the Joker's duels, but Joker escapes in a helicopter. The Joker now dumps $20 million in cash on the crowd which has come to an event after he advertised it on TV. Things take a turn for the worst, however, when the Joker's parade balloons start pouring out his deadly laughing gas on the crowd, killing many of them. Batman arrives in the Batwing and proceeds to gather up all the balloons and dump them out over the city. The Joker, furious with this, kills his best friend Bob in a fit of rage. He removes his massive piece from his trousers and blows Batman out of the sky. Vicky checks out the wreck of the Batwing to see if Bruce is alive, but is captured by the Joker, who proceeds to climb an enormous cathedral to meet his helicopter pickup. Batman, in hot pursuit but badly injured, follows close behind. Batman fights a few Joker goons on the way until he ultimately faces the Joker himself. Batman hits the Joker over a ledge and Batman and Vicky follow suit. The Joker attempts to climb to his helicopter, but Batman attaches his leg to a statue and the weight causes the Joker to plummet to his death. The next evening, Vicky quits the Gotham Globe, having solved the Batman story. Knox is still no closer to solving the Batman story, and Gotham gets a shiny new light to fool Batman whenever any crime is happening. And the movie comes to a classic end with Batman watching over his city with the Batman signal shining bright on the night sky, and Danny Elfman's epic score. Classic. Batman, much like Superman 1978, paved the way for superhero movies to come. Superman might have shown us that an alien with superhuman powers could be grounded in some sort of reality, but Batman definitely showed us that superheroes could be flawed individuals, operating in a world of serious crime, death and destruction all around, and terrifying psycho villains who can't be reasoned with. The threats are real and treated seriously. The set design by Anton Furst gave a unique visual style to Batman with its very rotten industrial feel. Furst studied Brazilian architecture to give him inspiration when he designed the world of Batman. The score by legendary composer and frequent collaborator with Tim Burton, Danny Elfman, along with Shelley Walker, have created an iconic musical score for Batman. It's very dark, brooding and operatic. A slightly augmented version of the score was used for the Batman television series in the 90s. Cinematographer Roger Pratt photographs the movie brilliantly. He lights Batman in very low lights, only showing the iconic silhouette of Batman. Some shots look like they have been lifted straight from the comics, and the unique close-up of Batman's eyes continues to be used in Batman films and cartoons even today. The Batmobile, designed by Anton Furst, is still the best out of all the incarnations of the car, both on-screen and off. While a great first outing for The Dark Knight, the film does have some issues. The first major is Vicky Vale being let into the Batcave by Alfred. I'm by no means a comic book expert, but many fans at the time have complained that Alfred would never let anyone in the Batcave without Bruce's permission. This was such an issue, even the sequel makes a joke at it. The second is the Joker being responsible for the death of Bruce's parents. This one doesn't bother me in particular, but again, many hardcore fans hated that the lore of Batman was tampered with. Tim Burton has defended scriptwriter Sam Hamm, saying it was indeed himself who made the change. But I can see why he did it. It connects all the characters for the final showdown, so it was done for cinematic reasons. But Burton misses the golden rule: don't mess with the source material. There are some effect shots in the movie that look a little weak by today's standards. All the miniature shots of the Batwing crashing lose all sense of scale and are clearly models. This was not down to Derek Meddins, who crafts and shoots brilliant models effects. It was Tim Burton's decision to shoot the action in frame rates that weren't suitable for these type of effects. But that's a minor gripe, and I do still enjoy the models. This movie is definitely a product of the 80s, but it still undoubtedly put Batman in the public eye. The standout performance is still Jack Nicholson. No one else could have played the Joker at the time, I don't think, apart from him. But I'm still torn between Jack and Heath. I'd say Heath is slightly more menacing, but his dialogue at times is cringe-worthy. Jack, while at times the same, he just seems a bit more unhinged and would shake your hand one moment but fry you the next. And he has a bit more of a sense of humour than Heath's Joker, although his performance is obviously impeccable. Kim Basinger has been criticised for her excessive screaming throughout the film, which I didn't enjoy. I'm not even going to deafen you with clips of it. It's a shame because she shows real signs of being a Lois Lane type strong woman at the start, but she regresses into a screaming damsel in distress by the end, which I feel is a bit of a wasted opportunity. Michael Keaton's Batman is the best incarnation even to this day. He's very dark, broody and evil looking at times. His Bruce Wayne, however, is where Michael falls short. He's essentially just Michael Keaton. I don't get the duality from him. Christian Bale definitely did a better Bruce Wayne, someone who is struggling internally. This could be down to Sam Hamm's writing or the way Keaton played it, but I'd take Bale's Bruce and stand it next to Keaton's Batman, and that's my ideal screen version of Batman and Bruce Wayne. Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert were slightly split over Batman upon its release. Siskel loved the movie, Ebert, however, agreeing that the movie is a well-made product, and interestingly, stylistically, he couldn't get invested in the characters.
A darker Batman, not at all like the campy 60s TV show. Jack Nicholson stars as criminal Jack Napier, here out to rob a chemical factory with the police and Batman, Michael Keaton, in pursuit.
Let him go, or I'll do Gordon.
Nice outfit.
Jack Napier turns into the twisted character of the Joker after Batman throws him into a vat of acid, scarring his face. Thus, natural enemies are born.
Wing freak. Terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
Out of uniform, Batman, of course, is millionaire Bruce Wayne, who draws the attention of photographer Vicky Vale, played by Kim Basinger. She's tipsy at the end of their first date.
I feel a little drunk. And you're not anything.
Hey, one drink and I'm flying.
Why are you afraid of flying?
The three main players are brought together when the Joker tries to disfigure Vicky Vale with acid as part of his crime wave.
Hold on.
The film plays down Batman's paraphernalia, save for the last act, a confrontation between Batman and Joker in the street and sky above Gotham City. The Batwing plane looks like a little model there. So does the Batmobile in some shots. Director Tim Burton obviously wants to recall the original comic book look as well as tell a more adult kind of story. And that adult approach is what I found so refreshing about this Batman movie. We have so many films these days that are being made for the teenage audience, films that look like overblown TV shows. Here's a picture with adult stars, troubled characters, and a dark look. It's a shame that that approach has to be considered a risk these days, but I'm certainly glad the approach was taken. I enjoyed this Batman.
You said you enjoyed it more than any of the other entertainment pictures this summer. I certainly didn't think it was as much fun as the Indiana Jones film.
More for me.
And
I've been through that one before.
As I looked at it, the thing that struck me most of all was the art direction. Gotham City in this movie is one of the original places in the movies. I thought it was very well done. It reminded me of places like Metropolis in the movie by Fritz Lang, or the futuristic Los Angeles in the movie Blade Runner by Ridley Scott. So I thought that the art direction was sensational. I thought the special effects were good. I thought those buildings looked like they went up 1.5 miles into the sky. I thought the dark film noir look of the film was very nice, but I didn't care about anything that happened in the movie. I never really found that these characters became people that I could get involved with. I felt that Nicholson, as the Joker, went on way too long. He was on too often. He was doing the same thing over and over. I found the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale didn't work at all, Kim Basinger and Michael Keaton. In fact, when she's in the Batcave and she sees for the first time that Bruce Wayne is in fact Batman, do you remember what her reaction was? She had no reaction.
I think
they left the reaction out of the film. They didn't even care that she was surprised.
No, she knew, and I think there are indications throughout the picture that these people know who they are in other lives, in other alter egos kind of situations.
Well, I don't.
It's very true between Batman and Jack Napier at the beginning of the film. When they give each other knowing looks, they're setting up a battle for the future.
Well, Gene, the thing, whether she knew who he was or not, is part of the suspension. In these movies, all of these movies, the superhero wears a mask that covers the top half of his face. It's like RoboCop. Well, anyone can see that it's Michael Keaton, but the whole deal in the movie is that you're not supposed to notice that until the person takes off the mask and you say, oh my God, it's Bruce Wayne. So she didn't know.
That isn't the whole business of the picture. I thought that the Bruce Wayne character was a fascinating guy. Rather than playing this as a strong man, I thought it was interesting to show this guy as sort of conflicted and nervous about it, and that's why he goes into this big pose.
Well, that's a modern touch that I wasn't surprised about. I'll tell you this much about the film. It's a not only a dark film, which you're right about, a film noir, but also there's a great deal of hostility and anger in this film. There's a great deal of bad feeling in it, and it's not a film for children. You call it an adult film. Another way to put it is it's not for kids.
I don't think so.
It's extremely disturbing.
But don't you find that? Well, wait a minute. Aren't you glad to be disturbed? And you know how I mean that.
I would have been glad to be disturbed by a film that made me care, that was able to get to not only use its special effects, but to encompass and surpass the special effects with a story. Because the one thing Spielberg knows in his special effects pictures is you've got to have strong characters and a strong story, or the special effects simply become something nice to look at.
I felt that I had entered a complete world, a psychological world, and a visual world. I bought it. The ending runs on too long. That I agree with you in story construction. It's that problem of the third act that a lot of action pictures have.
Well, I admire, as we can agree on one thing, we admire the look of the picture. Yeah. We just don't know we agree on whether it works or not.
We don't agree.
We don't agree.
The movie has definitely lost some of its charm over time, especially with the Nolan films now existing, and more holes have been popping up in terms of the film's plot and characters. However, this movie proved a dark superhero could be done and done well. It started the trend of big summer blockbuster marketing and still has fantastic performances all around, especially from Keaton and Nicholson. Definitely sew up in your black latex and give this a watch, because you won't be disappointed. It's a worthy entry for any Batman fan or movie fans in general. Not the best for some, but definitely not the worst Cape Crusader outing we've had yet. The worst is still to come. Until next time, please hit that comment, like and subscribe button, and please comment on my video below. Tell me, who do you think is the best Joker? Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson? I'll see you on the next review.